So I got my PhD at the local university, at University of the Ryukyus, and one of my professors was like a big cultural studies professor. I asked him, you know, there's a grave on Hamahiga that Amamichu is supposedly in. Do you know anything about it? And he's like, oh yeah, that grave's up there. So like even this guy who's a historian of the period, he was like, yeah, it exists, doesn't that? That's kind of weird, huh? Did you have a question?
I had a question about your studies there. Was it in English or Japanese?
So I could write my dissertation in English, but most of my coursework was in Japanese.
So the lectures were Japanese?
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if we could ever really tell if somebody really isn't here, and also the whole question of a goddess, you know, a goddess being human enough to die. There's so many questions, but if you think about your own religion too, like everybody's religion has a lot of questions that can't be answered and things that you just believe because you believe. So I think it's just one of those things that we have to accept. Religion in Okinawa is really woman to woman, so your mother practices the religion and she passes it down to you. There's not really like a text, so I'm Catholic, so that's what I compare everything to. So, you know, in Catholic, I might go to church, I can talk to my priest, the priest might have an answer, or the priest can look in the Bible and have an answer. In Okinawa, there's not necessarily that document that you have. You might go to your mom and say, why did we do this? So a lot of times when I have religious questions, I ask my mother-in-law, but usually she just goes, I don't know. And that's the end of it. So we do it because that's what my husband's mom says to do. But religious power is really held through women. The priestesses are really big. You don't really hear much about priests ever. So it's a lot of religion is through the women. Even the king, when this was the Ryukyu kingdom, it was the king's sister who was the highest priestess. And then she had this whole, like,
following.
Yeah. And, like, it was all, like, once the Ryukyu kingdom ended, that kind of formal religion sort of ended. But even today, it's all through women who do it. And I've had even some of my former students, like, their wives were very big into the religion here, and they had certain places they had to pray and that sort of thing. Two things. Oh yeah.
Do people like leave yen? I see some coins.
Yeah, so I think that's more mainland Japanese than Okinawan typically. For Okinawans, there's two things you would want when you pray. So this is one. This is uchikabi. You can buy this anywhere. So I got this at the supermarket. It looks like a napkin, but it's actually money for the gods. So you burn it. On Okinawan religious celebrations, this will definitely be something there. The other thing is incense. So you can see that pot there, that's where the incense would go. So Okinawan incense, there's 6 together like this. You break it 3 and 3. I asked my husband why, and he said, oh, I don't know. I had another student before who grew up in Thailand, so he knew a lot about Buddhism, and he said 3 is a very important number in Buddhism. Maybe that's the reason why, maybe we don't know, but you would put it in there and then burn it down. So those would be the big things at religious places. This is, so you could put some money in here, I think, for helping for the upkeep. It's pretty funny because it says the gods and a camera are watching you. The camera's right there, so the gods are also watching you, so don't steal it, yeah? But other religious spots, so actually if you guys turn around and you see that crack in the rock there, and you see how there's like a rock on the bottom, anytime you see like that sort of rock on the bottom somewhere, that will tell you that's a religious spot too, so you don't want to mess with it. So if you're walking around in the forest, you see something like that there, don't touch it, religious spot, don't go in the hole, yeah? Also sometimes you'll see like coral and stuff. So coral is thought to have a purifying aspect to it. So there used to be a lot of coral here until the last year or so when they cleaned it up. And they brought the coral up here purposely because, you know, corals in the ocean, the salt water is purifying, rolling around in salt water the whole time. So then it was put up here as a purifying aspect. So we think Amamichu is buried inside here. But no clue whatsoever. But this is kind of a very traditional old style tomb. A lot of the older tombs were just kind of in a cave, or just there was wall, they broke up in the wall, and then they put the tomb right there. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So what if like there's a tsunami coming, like how do they protect it?
I think it would be maybe just the gods will protect it and kind of leave it their situation. Yeah. It's been safe so far, so yeah.
Money though.
It's bolted down to the concrete or the cinder blocks.
Don't want to touch it too much before the camera.
God's got that.
Yeah, so I see some people waiting down there. So I would say most people that come here are tourists. My mother-in-law grew up right in this area. We passed basically my in-laws house down there. She didn't know this place existed at all. she saw it on TV. A Japanese TV program came here, and she was like, "Oh, you should go there." And I was like, "I already take my class there. I knew about it before my mother-in-law, who's 100% Okinawan." So it's very, very regional. So the people from this area definitely would use this place to pray, but the people from a different area would have their own place to pray. Also, Amamichu, there's different places that claim she's buried there. Actually, there's 3 different locations where it said she's buried. So it's not even, this is not even her only grave. Supposedly there's 2 other graves of her.
Do you know where those are at?
One is down south in a place called Minton-Busku, and the other I cannot figure out, but I read somewhere that said 3, but they didn't tell me what the 3 were. Yeah.
No, you've
Which
heard.
one has more like evidence what she's buried at? Is it this one or is it
This
the one that-
would be the largest, like most
Some
legitimate.
distance
Yeah.
here, some distance here.
Yeah. Supposedly she died off another island, off of this island, and then they brought her here.
Maybe that's where the other one
That's
is.
the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. One's
Yeah.
here, one's down there, and the other one's the baby.
Yeah. I mean, could
Speculated,
I
right?
Good
And there's a
theory.
ton of Buddhists
Good
in
theory,
there,
yeah,
number
yeah.
3.
Go ahead and make a 5th theory.
Yeah, exactly. Go make it
Class,
50
next
years.
class.
I mean, it's kind of fun.
That's a good theory.
but especially, you know, religion, you believe certain things, but you don't necessarily go into questioning too much behind it.
Well, that's the faith.
Yeah.